Marion County comes into this game with only one loss, 7-0 shutout to Chattanooga Central, a Class 4A team that made the playoffs, but were eliminated in the first round. Talking with Marion County's coach Rick Ross, it was just a bad night offensively for his team. It was still early in the season, actually the same week that Peabody lost to Milan, and they were still trying to figure out their offensive identity and still trying to figure out what would work, what wouldn't work, and Chattanooga Central got the best of them that night. Other than that, it's been a perfect record. They won their district, went undefeated in their district, got a bye in the first round of the playoffs, and beat the defending state champ, Trousdale County, in the quarterfinals, and they beat Grace Christian in the semifinals last week. Had to come from behind late to get that win, but they did get a late score to win, and now they're in. If you're a Peabody fan, some things to worry about with Marion County. Some really good reasons why they can win. One, they haven't lost to a 2A team or in the regular season a single A team throughout the whole season. One of the big reasons for that is because of Mr. Football finalist Blake Zeman. He's their fullback in their wing T offense. It's really hard to stop. He's kind of the engine that drives the truck for their offense, and everything kind of hinges on him. And he got, I think, about 2,000 yards. May have actually eclipsed that once the playoffs got started. I know it was almost 2,000 regular season stats at the Mr. Football Awards luncheon earlier this week. And he's got a good line in front of him with a lot of experience. Talking with some of their players earlier in the week, they've been playing since their freshman year. A lot of the seniors have. And they went 1-9 that year, took their lumps, but they gained a lot of experience for it and been starting every year since. The last 2 years, they made it to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs, only to be beaten by the team that wound up winning state both years, Friendship Christian 2 years ago, and then Trousdale County last year. They beat Trousdale this year in the quarterfinals, then beat Grace Christian. Now they're going to be back in the championship for the first time in 20 years this week. If you're a Peabody fan, there is definitely plenty of reasons to feel confident going into this game. One, if you want to think about it in basketball terms, when a team is playing well going into conference tournaments or district tournaments in high school, we kind of refer to a team as peaking early. And if that term can apply to any football team, that is definitely Peabody. They've been playing great all year for the most part, but a lot of that regular season competition, not the greatest. I don't think anybody will argue with the notion that District 14A was kind of down this year, other than the fact they got two teams playing in Cookville this year, with Union City winning the 1A state championship, Peabody playing for 2A. With the exception of those two, everybody's down. Humboldt, Lake County. You had Gibson County and Greenfield competing for playoff spots there late in the year, and South Fulton making the playoffs. But these weren't great teams. They made the playoffs just kind of because nobody else was there to take those playoff positions. So they've been beating quality or lesser quality teams. They've been beating them. Peabody has been beating them as badly as they should be, but they still haven't been tested. Their two main tests in the regular season coming into the playoffs were Milan and Union City, who were Peabody's two losses. And something to be concerned about going into this week is the fact that when I asked Coach Ricky Woods what team that Peabody has played already this year does Marion County resemble, the quick answer there was Milan, just kind of based on what they do, size of the personnel, and the way they play. And Milan delivered Peabody a 15-7 loss in week 3. Marion County does run mainly the wing T offense, though, and if there's an offense that Peabody has seen plenty of this year going through the district and going through just playing West Tennessee football, it's seen plenty of wing T football this year, so it knows how to play it. Now, these athletes that are running the wing T on Saturday may be different from the athletes that they played against and beaten getting up to this point. But as far as schematically, X's and O's, mentally, Peabody knows what to do because they've been there before. Something interesting to note about this playoff run for Peabody. If you go back and look at the past 4 playoff games, 49 points against Huntington, 42 points in the last 3 games against TCA, McKenzie, and Adamsville. You're looking at 175 points total for the entire playoffs. But only 41 of those points were scored in the first half. And with the exception of the McKenzie game, all of those games, or all of those halftime scores, Peabody was losing at halftime, and they had to kind of come back, whether it was making schematic changes, coaching changes at halftime, or just a matter of like last week in the win over Adamsville, as Coach Ricky Woods put it, the kids just had to settle down and play and execute with their game plan, and that was what wound up being the difference against Adamsville. The defense did its job, keeping Adamsville to 3-and-out series and keeping them from scoring. And then the offense, one would get good field position. Usually at about their own 45-yard line was their worst starting yard line in the second half. So they only had to go 55 yards at the most to score. Most of the time it was shorter than that. So that really helped Peabody's ability to score if you have fewer yards to go, obviously. Peabody is, I don't know if you would call them a second half team, but definitely they're definitely a team that just because they may go down early doesn't mean that they're out. And if that does happen this week, where Marion County jumps up, maybe scores a couple of early touchdowns, that's not a reason for anybody on the Peabody side of the stadium to panic. All in all, I like Peabody's chances to come out of this game with the state championship. I'm not necessarily picking them to win, but I definitely like their chances as much as I've liked anybody that's been up here the past few years in Cookeville. And I mentioned last Sunday in the paper, the local area has had a team in the 2A championship game each of the last 4 years. TCA, Dresden, and Adamsville twice, with nobody being able to come back. But this time it's different. Peabody isn't playing a bigger school like TCA did. They're not playing a private school that's got some really good players coming in from different areas like Friendship Christian had. And they're not playing a team that's got as much of a tradition and history of winning like Trousdale does. It's been 2 decades for Marion County since they've been in the championship, and it's been 23 years for Peabody since they've been in the championship. So I'm just checking my math there and just making sure. Yeah, 1991 was the last time they were in the championship. So it's not like either team has a lot of experience being on this stage. So the team that can just kind of shut all the clutter and the hype of it being a state championship game out of their minds as quickly as possible and just get down to playing football Saturday morning will probably be the one that comes out the winner. And considering the fact that Ricky Woods has been in this situation before a few times, and knows how to motivate the players. He's been with these players for 2 years. He knows how to push their buttons, how to ease up when he needs to. Puts Peabody in a very good position to come out with a championship. So good luck to Peabody, and hope it's a well-played game by both teams and everybody stays injury-free. Be sure to check JacksonSun.com. Throughout the afternoon, we'll have sidebars and results and reaction videos and stuff like that coming from the game throughout the afternoon. And obviously, we'll have plenty of coverage in Sunday's paper as well. But thank you for watching, thank you for reading, and thank you for trusting the Jackson Sun as your #1 source for local sports information in West Tennessee.